2 days after the Super Bowl, we turn our attention to the NBA because there was a blockbuster trade made in the association. Ben Simmons, James Harden. Of course, Simmons came along with Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and some draft picks for James Harden. Here's Ben Simmons on why he wanted out of Philadelphia.
A bunch of things that have gone over the years to where I just knew I wasn't myself, and I needed to get back into that place of, being myself and being happy as a person and taking care of my well-being. It wasn't about the basketball. It wasn't about the money, anything like that. I want to be who I am and get back to, playing basketball at that level and, being myself. A lot of things had happened over that summer to where I didn't feel like I was getting that help. But it is what it is. I don't have it wasn't a personal thing towards, any player or coach or owners or anything like that. It was about myself, getting to a place where, I need to be.
Okay. Listen, I think there has to be a breath taken by so many of us when the knives want to come out because the guy feels like it's not a right fit and he wants to change, right? I think the issue is more with, there has to be some accountability. Accountability from Simmons and the fact that he did not work hard enough and could not overcome whatever demons in terms of just shooting the basketball. Has to be accountability for the Philadelphia 76ers not fostering an environment that allowed him to shoot a basketball, right? It does, in fact, work both ways. He did talk about when he started to struggle mentally in Philadelphia.
For me, it was just making sure mentally I was right to get out there and play again. So that's something I've been, dealing with. And it wasn't about the fans or coaches or comments made by anybody. It was just a personal thing for me. That was earlier than that series or even that season that I was dealing with, and that organization knew that. So it was something that, I continue to deal with. And, I'm getting there and getting to the right place to, get back on the floor.
Okay, let's now go to the other side. James Harden is back with Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey was his GM in Houston. Now, of course, he's his GM, or he's working in the front office in Philadelphia. Here's Harden on why Philly was his first choice.
When I was going through everything I was going through, in Houston, Philly was my first choice. It just didn't happen. So detailed, I don't really want to get into the Brooklyn situation. I just knew, for a very long time this was a perfect fit. And obviously you got a big man, the best big man in the league in Joel. And then obviously the coaching, just from top to bottom, it made sense. And I'm just happy and blessed that I'm here. As Doc and everybody knows and everybody wants is to win and be the last team standing. So I'm excited for the opportunity.
Here's James Harden on how Kyrie Irving affected the situation.
Is the uncertainty around Kyrie's situation this year, did that play a part in how things developed over the past couple of months for you?
Very minimal, honestly. Obviously, me and Kyrie are really good friends. Whatever he was going through or is still going through, that's his personal preference. But it definitely did impact the team because originally, obviously, me, Kyrie, and KD on the court and winning covers up a lot of that stuff. But it was unfortunate that, we played 16 games out of whatever it was, and it is what it is.
I was thinking about something today. This is a real story, okay? So, obviously we have a partnership with Sleep Number, right? So, Sleep Number beds, it's interesting. You think, when you go into the stores, everyone thinks they know what kind of bed you want, what kind of feel you want on a mattress. Like if I was to ask you, Ramos, your mattress at home, okay, is it firm or is it soft? Like which is your actual mattress at home?
Yeah, I think it's not too firm, but it's not soft. It's like wherever that would be, like mid-firm.
Yeah. Okay. Jay Stu, are you a firm guy? You a soft guy? You a plush pillow top guy? Like where are you?
I'm more of a firm guy.
Yeah.
Mattress wise, and then pillow, I need something in between.
Okay. So you go in there and you lay on beds and they check your Sleep Number settings, right? And like on a goof, when I first did it, I was like, well, how about 44? That was the number that I wore. And they're like, well, it has to go in fives. And they're like, well, what generally do you like? I was like, well, generally I think I like a firm mattress. So they crank it up to like 85. It goes 0 to 100. Crank it up to, and it feels really, really good. And you're like, man, that feels great. And then they show you actual visual of where, based on color coding, where the pressure is. And there's pressure on your low back. They adjusted it, ironically, to 45, or they don't tell you where they adjusted to. And you're like, God, that feels amazing. Like, actually, that's a 45 setting. You think you know what you want, but it's not actually what you need. You know? I end up working my way around to I think it's called the I-10, which is like one of those split beds. And it allows you, I snore, so it allows you to kind of make it an anti-snoring thing. There's a zero gravity deal where, I mean, you literally feel like you're floating. The point is, I walked in with this thought of, I like something really firm and substantial. And I walked away, honestly, where Ramos sits, which is somewhere kind of in the middle, right? That's where James Harden is. James Harden thought I got to get out of Houston. This thing's a sinking ship. This is not what I want. I want to be surrounded by like stars. That's what he thought he needed. Now he's like, actually, I really need a big guy because I don't play much defense and he can defend the rim. I really need another star so that somebody else can make plays. And I really still need to be around Daryl Morey because he kind of gets me in how I play and what's needed. Like, you think you know what you want or what you need, and then suddenly what actually fits kind of presents itself, even if it's the opposite of or somewhere kind of in the middle area of what you thought you needed. You know, what you thought you needed. Like for Ben Simmons, I think people thought, hey, let's get him a completely fresh start, get him his own franchise, build a team around him. That's the way to do it. Maybe you put him with Portland, with Damian Lillard, and surround him with dudes. When the truth is, he was already in the NBA playoffs. He does need guys that have a supreme amount of self-confidence. I kind of think the fit works better for him in Brooklyn, whereas in Philadelphia, look, if you're struggling with your confidence, Philadelphia is not a city for you. Nope. Playing basketball in that city? Nope. That's not a good fit. No, because they will eat you alive, as they ate Ben Simmons alive. Right? Whereas Harden, they really care. That's what he wants, somewhere that cares. People think that Brooklyn is New York City. Technically, it's one of the boroughs of New York City. It is not. It is not the Knicks. When the Knicks lose 11 games in a row, as the Brooklyn Nets have, it's end of days. Fire everybody. Give me a new coach. Scrap this team out. Now, the Knicks have not been good since a hot start to start the season, and they've regressed towards the mean. But they've not lost 11 games in a row, and yet most of the fire everybody, get rid of Tibbs. That's over the Knicks, not the Nets, who have been utterly and completely disappointing. Why? Because Brooklyn is not New York. Do they want to win? Yeah. Is the new owner completely invested in winning? Have they been put together to win now? Absolutely. But there's not the fandom. There's not the negative feedback when you don't play well. There's not Philadelphia. The crazy psycho fans that when you're struggling mentally with your shot or with your game or with things personally, they feel personally offended when you don't play well. Those guys may have thought they knew what they wanted when James Harden left Houston or when Ben Simmons thought he wanted to be on the open market or thought he wanted to be moved. But sometimes what's that, Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want. You get what you need. I kind of think this is a good trade. Look, I don't know if Harden has the shooting around him to give him the space that he needs. And I do think that he's forever a flawed player because he doesn't play both ends, because he does hold the ball, and he doesn't want to move it, and the defense does lock in. But he's an amazing talent, and so is Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons, I don't know. I always felt like he should have shot right-handed because he's right-handed in everything in life except for shooting a basketball outside of 15 feet. He had plenty of time to rework it, and we'll see how much he's worked on his game based upon how he plays early on. Just because you haven't been playing doesn't mean you weren't working. Either you've been working or you haven't. We'll find out. But I was thinking about the mattress setting thing, and I was like, what we all think we want is not what we need. And sometimes what you need, frankly, leaves you like you're floating in a cloud.